You're listening to Mind, Body, Home with your host, Sara Ann. Welcome, my friends. I have a treat for you today. I know that you all love decorating tips, especially when they are intentionally aligned with the seasons and the elements, right? And in this case, the holiday seasons. But before I jump into that, I want to share with you that my annual membership, Seasonal Planning with the Five Elements, is still open for enrollment. If you love learning more about the elements, you want to set goals for yourself and actually see them through or see them come to fruition, then this might be a great community for you. In it, I share decorating tips and at-home rituals to help you align your home so that it aligns with the life you want to be living. So many people set their goals and wishes in January, and then they just sort of let life happen, right? And they throw up their arms and say, okay, maybe next year. With seasonal planning, you're coming back to your dreams and your goals all year long. We meet once every quarter for a live workshop where you'll learn how to make adjustments to your home. Together, we take a look at what we're working towards and we take pause for reflection. We ensure that we're giving ourselves room to make pivots if that's necessary. We practice a lot of self-care, a lot of self-love, because this is a way to not only keep coming back to your goals, but it's a way to keep coming back to yourself. When we feel like our own cup is full, we start aligning with the life we want to be living. So, this is a really amazing opportunity to take the practices that you read about in Room for Home and start applying them in community with other like minded women and with me as a source of support. I am keeping enrollment open for just $97, okay? In 2026, the price is going up, but I want you to join me now because our next live call will be in December, where we will be discussing the winter and the water element. We're going to talk about how to prepare for the new year, but also create more sacred space for us at home. The winter season asks us to turn inward and take this time to self-reflect. And so this is the time to nest in at home. And so there's going to be a lot of support and guidance on guidance on ways to do just that. So you can ease into your new year grounded and ready for what's next. But if you join us now, you're going to receive everything we've already worked towards, and that includes the earth and metal workshops. I have been giving them tons of resources like self-date ideas. I provide you with a 90-day self-care calendar, fall maintenance and decluttering checklists. We added a bonus Q&A session that was an amazing conversation just a few weeks ago. And if you don't know whether you'd be able to join us live or maybe you don't want to, some people prefer not to attend things live. Everything is recorded and provided to you for your own quiet comfort and enjoyment at home. This is a really great way to come back to yourself, not just seasonally. We actually look at the cyclical cycles of the lunisolar calendar, and just it's almost like every 2 weeks we're making seasonal shifts. We look at the moon phases and we work with those. So this isn't just a quarterly practice. This is week by week guidance and support. And you can join me for $97. This is a very, very affordable investment for you to perhaps see some really incredible manifestations come into your life just through the power of coming back to yourself more seasonally, more often. Okay? So let's jump into today's topic. We are moving into holiday seasons, right? And because of that, our dining rooms tend to get a little more attention than usual. You might be pulling out all your good dishes, right? Setting your table for guests and finally uncovering those chairs that have been doubling as clothes racks, maybe if you're folding laundry at the dining room table. But today, I don't want to just focus on holiday hosting. I want to reframe how we think about the dining room, not just as a space for holiday hosting, like I said, but as a space of ritual and everyday nourishment. So, this is for whether you have a formal dining room or just a cozy corner or an eat in kitchen. I hope that this episode helps you reconnect to that space as both sacred and practical, one that can support your energy, support digestion, spark creativity, and offer more connection. So, a lot of what I'm about to share might seem a little bit obvious, when you look at magazines or the way your grandmother keeps her dining room. The traditional dining room or the formal dining room, in a sense, is well decorated. But today, many dining rooms sit empty. And a lot of new construction isn't even putting dining rooms in, especially with the onset of um, open living, where the living room, dining room, a lot of activity is happening in the kitchen, and we've expanded the kitchens to include dining space. So not only are dining rooms, if you do have one, sitting empty, they're certainly not being used for actual dining. For a lot of people, they're being used for everything but. I couldn't tell you how many design consultations and feng shui consultations I've been on where I'd go into someone's home and you couldn't even see the table, right? Because the tables and the space themselves have become home offices, drop zones, craft tables, right? Storage for things that we don't know what to do with. But when we're constantly on the go, right? And we're eating at the kitchen island, we're eating in the car or in front of the television, we lose something that's really nourishing, and that's that ritual of gathering. So I believe that if you have been craving more calm energy in your life, you're desiring more connection, more rhythm in your life, that reclaiming your dining room is one of the simplest ways to begin. In my book, Room for Home, I talk about tiny rituals, right? These are small intentional acts that reconnect us to ourselves and to our spaces. So the small ritual of just setting the table, lighting a few candles, just simply slowing down, it isn't just an aesthetic, right? Oh, there's a lot of, if you go on Pinterest, like slow living is like this trendy aesthetic. It's deeper than that. It's very energetic. Those small rituals, they signal to your nervous system that, hey, it's okay to relax now. You've had a busy, hectic day. Come here. Come sit. Come be present. When you're relaxed, your body digests more efficiently, conversations are more connected and flowing, and even your presence with your people, it deepens, right? For me, I have two almost preteens. So dinner in the dining room gives us 30 to 45 minutes of just real, authentic connection, right? No screens at the table, no TV is on in my home. There's no friends texting, no distractions, there's no rushing. In the summer, there is sometimes rushing because thank God the kids still want to like go outside and be with their friends. I'm very grateful for that. I'll take that in today's world. But, just us landing here together at the end of the day is so nourishing, right? Like food itself or mindful eating is nourishing, but so is connection with the people you love. That also nourishes your soul, not just your body. So if you rarely use your dining room, you can start really small. Maybe just eat there once or twice a week, right? Maybe it's just a Sunday dinner ritual with you and your partner or you and your family, right? Or it could just be a mindful breakfast on the weekends. And create a ritual around it, right? Light a few candles, use placemats, invest in cloth napkins, play a little gentle music, right? If you don't pray, maybe just taking a deep breath before you eat, right? Just a pause. Because it's, even if you have a formal dining room, it's not about being formal, it's just about being present. If your dining room doubles as your workspace, mine actually does. I'm sitting here recording this from the dining room. If you're watching on YouTube, my office is actually back in that little cubby hole back there. But this is where it feels good. I work primarily from a laptop, so I don't have like a big desktop computer or anything. And the lighting is good in here. This space just feels good. It's decorated nicely. I enjoy this space. So I actually bring my work into the dining room most days. I have been thinking about redoing the home office. What I don't love about it is it's, again, with these modern homes, it's open concept living. So there's no doors on the office space. That was actually meant to be either an office or a formal dining room. And this space that I'm in back here is more of a smaller space for a dining room. So it was kind of like a bonus room that you could choose what to do with. And right now it's sort of an office, like there's a desk and a chair in there, but I don't ever sit in there. I just cannot stand the light. Um, Whatever. It's just not decorated. And I'm debating if I want to or if I'm okay here. Like I enjoy it here. So regardless, if you're using I digress. If you're using your dining room as an office, um, when your workday ends, you clear the table, you reset it for dinner. And it's just that little small act of transition that shifts the energy from doing busy, active to more passive being energy, right? It tells your home and your body that work is complete and nourishment, connection, relaxation, that begins. So let's talk about decorating a little bit here. The dining room naturally connects to both wood and earth elements. So wood is about growth, vitality, connection, community, right? So you can bring it in through greens or blues, right? Natural wood furniture is a given. Plants, we love plants. Plants thrive in dining spaces. With the earth element, that's very grounded, right? It's nourishing and it provides stability. So earth tones like beige and cream, terracotta, and yellow, they encourage this grounded relaxation, but they can also, like especially the yellow and the terracotta, that can actually stimulate the appetite because they're a little bit more yang. So the dining table itself, that anchors the entire room, right? It's the energetic and the visual centerpiece of your dining room. Ideally, you want it to be proportional to the room's scale. You don't want it so large that it's, difficult to get around the chairs and other furniture pieces. And you don't want it to be too small that it feels sort of insignificant and people can't sort of like stretch out and be comfortable. Typically, you see shapes of round, oval, square, rectangular. Of course, those all work. They all support this sense of conversation and flow and inclusion, right? But I would suggest that if you have a square or rectangular shape and it has sharp corners, to just maybe soften them with a tablecloth or a runner if that works too. Um, if your table is wobbly, that is a huge red flag and get it fixed, right? Because a sturdy table represents stability, right? You're not always fussing with the table. You're not always getting irritated by it. When you go to a restaurant, how irritating that is. It just provides a little more presence and harmony. You're not focused on the wobbly table. You're focused on who is speaking at the time. So wood tables, in my opinion, are ideal. They are strong, they are warm, they're grounding. They literally bring in the energy of nature, right? They connect to the family and gathering element of more growth and community, right? Sharing, gathering. Chairs should be able to support you, right? Physically and energetically. You want seats that have solid backs, comfortable cushions, right? It invites people to linger, to talk, and to digest both food and the day. You can add some sensory and seasonal touches that engage the five elements. Love a good balance of all the elements in a space. So we already talked about earth and wood. So natural linens, woven placemats, wooden chargers, fresh greenery on the table or just in the room. Fire element, of course, through warm lighting and candles, right? Metal, polished silverware. And it doesn't, again, I say polished, but it doesn't need to be fancy, just silverware, brass candle holders, metallic accents through your decor. Water element through your glassware. Mirrors are wonderful in the dining room. Any reflective finishes that help circulate energy and stimulate conversation, right? Your artwork can depict people gathering, so, photos of family and friends. You can use serene nature scenes, right? Meadows are great, birds are big in dining rooms, soft, gentle landscapes. Large mirrors work really well in dining rooms because they symbolize abundance. Mirrors amplify energy. And so when you have a well lit, well decorated space and you amplify that with a mirror, especially a large, bold mirror, you really amplify this feeling of abundance. And remember, wherever you hang a mirror, whatever it is in its reflection is going to be amplified. So, you know, make sure it's not like facing a cluttered corner or something. You know what I mean? You don't want to amplify the clutter. You want to amplify the pretty tablescape. And the dining room is a really great place to pull in conversation pieces, right? So these could be like travel mementos or any heirlooms that have been passed down to you, because those can spark stories, memories, and connection that you can share with people. I always say if you have fine china, to use it. Don't save it for just holidays. Maybe bring it out on Sundays. I think that we can invite beauty every day, right? Because when we invite that beauty, it invites everyday gratitude. And if your plates are chipped or worn, just replace them, right? Just that little small upgrade of replacing outdated plates that, or you just don't like them, or they're cracked or they're chipped, right? It subconsciously tells you that you and your family are worth good things now. Check out, and it doesn't have to be an expensive thing. Like, check out antique malls. The amount of dinnerware that is available in vintage and antique shops is incredible. I always say if you're buying secondhand to do a clearing. There's definitely a podcast episode on that. And I actually have I don't know. I have a love-hate. Not hate. I don't like to use the word hate, but I am always intrigued by people who have the ability to mix and match different pieces so well that have that like eclectic eye. I tend to want everything to be the same, and it's just kind of who I am, but I also, I do enjoy seeing other people do the mix and match thing. If you're into it, the antique mall is a wonderful place to do that. And then again, always coming back to those elements to layer your table with texture to pull in all those elements. So wood, linen, glass, metal, right? I even like to swap out my colors and accessories more seasonally. Okay. I think a lot of us tend to just do holiday refreshing. Like you might have your holiday placemats and you might have your Easter placemats, but think a little more seasonally, right? So you might want deeper, rich jewel tones in the fall. Maybe you want lighter pastels in spring, right? So, it just helps keep your dining room feeling a little refreshed, alive, and more aligned with what's happening in the natural world. Last thing I'll leave you with is a concept that, it's a little less talked about, but it's this idea that the dining room is a place of manifestation because it is a place where nourishment turns into energy and that energy fuels creation. So when the table isn't being used for meals, it can become a powerful workspace, somewhere you can spread out your ideas, vision boards, creative projects, a large table, good lighting, supportive chairs. It does make it an ideal place to see things through to its completion, right? It's a place where your ideas can literally take form. And I think that's why you see a lot of people work at the dining room table, even like I do. I think the most important point to that is that having a ritual to transition it and use it for its purpose, especially if you're craving more connection to yourself, to your family, you want a more calm environment, you're looking for micro practices and tiny rituals to help you create those, create more of a rhythm in your life rather than a routine. Routine to me feels very structured and tasked, where rhythm has a softer edge, right? There's just a flow to your day. And when we implement more of those rhythms as opposed to routines, we soften the act of whatever it is we're trying to accomplish. So just a mindset shift for you there. Rhythm over routine. Okay? All right. So beyond the holidays, I hope that you'll start thinking of your dining room as not just a space for entertaining, but as a place for more connection to yourself and to your loved ones on an everyday basis. It's where nourishment, conversation, and creation come together. To me, it's a space that reminds you that you don't have to wait for an occasion to create beauty, to connect, or just to celebrate, right? You can do that every single day if you choose to. And when you honor your dining room and its intended purpose in the home, you're honoring that part of yourself that's always hungry for more connection, more comfort, and more meaning. So, my friends, please enjoy your upcoming holiday if you celebrate. Whether you do or not, I hope that you start and continue to celebrate your every single day. Until next time, so much love and gratitude. Before you go, I do have a little thank you gift. If you've been enjoying the Mind Body Home podcast, I'd love for you to leave it a quick review. It helps more women find this work and create homes that truly support them. As a thank you, I want to send you a free digital copy of my book, Room for Home. It's a heartfelt guide and journal filled with small rituals and reflections to help you reconnect with your space and yourself. All you have to do is just take a screenshot of your review and email it to me at jsd@jadescottdesign.com, and I will send the book right to your inbox. The link to email is in today's show notes.